Next slide. This is Eve too. He was the Haitian that is the second in command for Omni, the gal who was incident commander of the clinic and hospital across from the palace. He did a lot of traveling with us and set up a lot of appointments with us, and his skills were invaluable because he was fluent in 4 languages: Creole, Spanish, French, and English. He's lives in Minnesota actually, but he was down there after the earthquake to be long-term on staff with YWAM. Next slide. These are the guys that are showing how sturdy the desks are that we made. So you got about 600 pounds of flesh sitting on these desks, and it held up quite well. Next slide. This gal here, her name is Cindy, and she's a long, short-term missionary down there, and she's a school teacher, and she's teaching these orphans. And so she's down there by herself and just invaluable to the staff down there. Next slide. This is a gal who is on staff. She's one of the Haitian staff, and I can't remember her name, but she's got a very miraculous story. She was a college student there in Port-au-Prince when the earthquake hit in the afternoon on the 12th, and she was underneath a collapsed building, and God got her out. She was the only one in her class that survived, and she managed to find her way out of that rubble pile, and she wasn't even hurt. So God spared her, but she's always got a smile like that, and she does a lot for the mission there. Next staff. This is Pastor Dave. He's also down there on a long short-term mission, and he's down there for about 6 weeks, but he was asked to come down there to just do a lot of counseling with the kids down there, because they, obviously were traumatized by the earthquake. A lot of them were afraid to even go inside and sleep in the orphanage, even though it was structurally intact. And so he's just been doing a lot of counseling and down there, and just doing a lot of work for him. Just keep him lifted up. And the next couple of slides are just a couple more pictures of the buildings, but that's a typical pancake collapse. That building does have some voids in it, but still you can see that was 3 stories, and it just collapsed one on top of the other. The next slide is the last one. And that just shows you even homes that appear to be built really well crumbled down. That was a pretty nice place down there, but obviously that's got to be totally destroyed. And so just a couple of, you can turn the lights back on, that's all the slides. Just a couple of the things that I want you to pray for, things that are still going to be happening in the future down there, and things that happened while we were there. Some of our guys on Monday afternoon went down and were trying to connect with some people that were involved in the military there, because if you've got connections, you can get a lot of things done and get through a lot of the bureaucratic red tape. And somebody knew that there was the 173rd Airborne there, and we had a former Marine on our team, and so we knew that just that common denominator would get some things done. And then they were also supposed to do a little outreach at a chapel service with the 173rd Airborne. And so 3 guys, including John, went and they did a chapel service down there. And there were 15 that showed up, and 12 of them accepted the Lord. And these are members of our military. And the 3 that obviously didn't were already Christians. And so everyone that was there was a Christian when they were done. And then while they were there, they did talk to some other people that were in charge of supplies. And when we got back later on that night at 12:30, there was a knock on the gate, and one of the guards had to come up and get us because there was over 2 tons of rice that they delivered. And so, So those are the kind of things that happen through prayer and just through, our team, because there's just so many different talents that our team had, and God just put it together. And then also, this former Marine, his name is Jack Henderson, he wanted to contact somebody with the Army Corps of Engineers, because they're the ones that can do things structurally down there. And to get on the list to get things done, it's almost impossible. It takes months. And he was able to get through all that red tape and managed to make a contact and get the orphanage on a list to have some work done on the walls, because the girls' orphanage, their wall that protects them from the alley or the street had fallen partially over and needed to be destroyed, because originally they wanted us to work on that, but it was just more than we could do. And so the Army Corps of Engineers will have the resources to make that happen. And so getting the orphanage on that list was a miracle. And then also one other thing, one of the things that they were hoping to accomplish was to set up for a future trip a crusade. And John White had a contact through Yves, the one Haitian man I mentioned to you, and another Haitian that puts on crusades down there and has done it in the past, so he has access to a facility as well as sound equipment and the ability to do that. And they were thinking that maybe they might be able to do a crusade for, a few thousand people, maybe 10 or 12,000 people. But this Haitian man said, no. If you guys put on a crusade, I guarantee you there'll be over 100,000 people that will show up. So that's another thing you can be praying for, is that this will happen. And they're trying to set it up for sometime in April. And the cost is going to be $35,000, but we know that that's nothing to God. He'll provide the finances. And so be praying for that. And that's all I have. Thank you very much for your prayers.